Hello everyone, my name is Adam Michael Anthony Simpson and you're watching my YouTube channel, Adam M.A. Simpson. Today we have a special episode featuring other like-minded SciComm YouTubers. We have Chad C. Williams, Vera Chan with PhDCoffeeTime, and Nichole Lewis with Bio Corner. This won't be a long introduction, just watch the video, enjoy. We talk about our creative process, what got us to start the channel, and other things along the way, including misconceptions about graduate school. So please check the description below to follow their channels and keep watching. Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here today. So we will start by introducing ourselves.
Hi, my name is Vera and my YouTube channel is called PhDCoffeeTime. I am currently no longer in a PhD, but I make video like a retrospective perspective of what I would have advised myself in the past to do as a PhD student. Right now, I am a medical writer, so I also create a few career transitioning interviews with my network to try to demystify the black box of transitioning out of academia. Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me today, Adam.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Nichole?
So, hi, my name is Nichole. My YouTube channel is Bio Corner, so it's kind of like a biology SciComm YouTube channel. And I'm currently a fifth-year PhD student, hopefully wrapping up soon, studying biochemistry, molecular, cellular, and developmental biology.
Wow. Awesome. And Chad?
My name is Chad. My YouTube channel is Chad C. Williams, not very creative, but I do have, the main factor is a R tutorial series, which is called Get R Done, which is a little more creative. I am currently at University of Victoria as a third-year PhD candidate in neuroscience.
Awesome. And sticking with you, Chad, we're getting into the questions now. What drove you to start your YouTube channel, and what was the inspiration?
Yeah, there's different aspects of my YouTube channel. Like I said, the most popular right now is the R tutorial series, so maybe I'll focus on that. In honesty, there was a course I was involved in as a TA, and basically it was an advanced statistics course. I'm a big stats nerd, and so we didn't really have time to introduce any programming or any program to do with statistics at all. So I threw a video together trying to convince these students to use R rather than other programs because I think there's a lot of power in R. So I came up with a video, which is my actual introduction video for my series. And then I just kind of rolled with it and started adding some tutorials.
And Nichole, Vera, do you want to chime in here on like what drove you to start your YouTube channel? I guess Nichole, you can go first, and then Vera.
Yeah, so I think for myself, it was this thing of I did an outreach program with a kind of like a science exploratorium type thing out where I'm from, and I really enjoyed that. And my mom and a couple of friends kind of were able to watch me do it. It was the first time they'd been able to see me really interact with kids, because most of the other things had actually been like at school. So obviously only people who are at the school can be there. And they really loved it. And they were like, Nichole, like you obviously like get so excited when you're explaining science like to kids or just like their parents and stuff, like you should actually do this for real. And so then ironically, once the pandemic started, I had a little bit more time on my hands, and I kind of forced to be like, I can't go to schools right now. Like I can't go and do these outreach things that I really like to do. So YouTube, and that's kind of where everything got started.
So then you'd say your channel is geared towards children.
Yeah, so definitely some kids. I think at this point, just since so much of it is like through posting on Facebook and like Twitter and stuff, I'm sure I probably still have a largely more adult audience. So very more generally like a general audience, but there's definitely some things there. Like I do try to make it to where
accessible
children can
for kids.
Also understand and follow along with it.
I love that. It's so important to engage children.
I'm enjoying this crowd today because I am a big fan of R, and I make just one video to not embarrass myself to tell people how to start. And I absolutely love Nichole's video on strawberry DNA extraction because I've been in biology for 10 years as postdoc and PhD. It never occurs to me that I can extract DNA at home. So that's the coolest thing that still makes my year, I think. So back to my motivation of starting YouTube, that there are several aspects of it that my videos, maybe best known ones are the notes-taking and Zotero citation software videos. They are mostly practical tips, but if you see any of my entrance, like my intro of my video, I always say 3 aspects of my channel. That is for motivation, peer support, and practical tips at PhD studies. So I want to help PhD students who were just like me, myself, 10 years ago, started in 2009. Awkward silence of how old I am. But yes, I'm a slow learner, and I think I mature much slower than most of my peers. But I do grasp things very deeply. So that is like a retrospective channel. In the first year, I'm really stubborn in taking notes. Like if you see my OneNotes video, I have a lot of ways to keep track of notes, organize even my own day at lab or even a lab meeting. But I think the first years of YouTube videos, they were really my way of note taking about what I think are really time-saving tips for a PhD student that would have really enjoyed those 15 minutes coffee break with Vera, and then maybe save some time for them to organize a file or have a file directory system. Like nobody ever taught me that in grad school, and it takes a lot of embarrassing chaos in the later time in research that I really felt like I hope this video if someone is in a miserable situation in the PhD and they Google search something, my wish and my dream is that they will find something Vera has recorded and they will find the day a little better. And that is my wish. And yeah, that's
motivation. That's great.
And then you've already done that for me. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, all right. And so, while 3 of us, Nichole, Chad, and I, are still pursuing our PhDs, Vera, as you said before, you completed your postdoc, your PhD and postdocs, and you're now working in industry in France. Well, starting with Vera, could you discuss how you manage producing YouTube videos and what is your cadence and process? And then we'll open up.
Thank you for asking me that question. I teach students to track time in lab, and I actually lived that habit for years now. I sound very OCD by saying that, but I would compose, it's compulsory every time when I edit a video. I track how many minutes does it take for me to edit.
Oh wow!
So I have done that for at least the first year, but now I started using my lunch break and my morning hour. Now I come to a conclusion knowing every 15 minutes of my video would take roughly 7 to 10 hours to produce.
Wow.
Because a lot of them needs visuals, animations, and sometimes I regret my English and I need to record again. And I need to. So in the end, I take about 7 to 10 days of 1 hour every day. And I teach students to show up every day to write their thesis. And I live that myself too, because although I'm not writing any thesis now, but my videos are like my writing and my deliverable. And I still do every day, at least early morning, 30 minutes editing my video.
Wow.
And then at lunch, when I'm having lunch, social distancing with my colleagues, I will edit half an hour of my video. And that's 1 hour every day.
Wow.
And,
that's interesting.
That's how I fit it in my day.
And then Chad and then Nichole.
So I'm a little different here because the 3 of you do such a great production job on your videos, and some people will just call lazy. So I don't. I don't put animations, I don't put sounds and things like that.
I'm there with you.
Yeah, well, that's not true. You do have some though. But in any case, the Get Our Done series, the whole point is to streamline information, so there's no like fluff around it. You just get what you're there for and then you leave. So like I said earlier in our chat, I cut out all my terrible jokes and but the good thing about that for me is I could sit and record a bunch of videos all at once because I don't know, I love R and stats, so I just nerd out and do it. And then my editing is actually fairly simple. Other than like some audio editing, I just kind of cut a bunch of chunks out and then paste it together. And when I first started, I was really worried about people being like, why don't you like make it more entertaining? And I'm like, well, I'm not entertaining, so I couldn't do it. So yeah, my process is pretty much I try and clump it all together. And do it all, and maybe take a day or two and get a bunch of videos, and then I try and just not worry too much about the editing part. Maybe in the future I'll regret saying this on YouTube, but
that's funny. But how about you, Nichole?
Oh man, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think definitely, like, I have at times made more work for myself than I could have maybe handled. Yeah, so like generally I'll try to do 2 videos, like I'll film 2 at once. So usually it blocks out like a whole Saturday and that's just film day. And usually it's like I try to have like a script done, and my fiance, he's been fantastically supportive and like has helped me go over over scripts, and like he actually, because I like to try to introduce humor and like kind of like memes and stuff, so he kind of like almost, I hear this in like podcasts all the time, that's like punch up jokes. So he tries to come in and help me with those, and then we film. And then the editing process is like, I feel like a little cumbersome because like we're recording on an iPhone, and the software we generally use for the bulk of the editing doesn't like how iPhones format videos. So I have to edit first in iMovie, and so that's where I make what we call like a rough cut. And I basically just pick my favorite takes of each chunk that we did. And then I hand over to my fiance, because then we can put it into the actual editing software that's just much easier for him to navigate. And he kind of helps with doing the more complicated stuff, because he did like a little bit of film editing, like as a hobby.
That's so cool.
In high school. So yeah, so it definitely does kind of result in things taking a little bit more time. And yeah, and definitely in terms of cadence, like 2 at a time. But I try to give myself some kind of like grace and patience when life is busy. So like I unfortunately haven't had time to do a video in a while. But I feel like that's also important when you're doing YouTube, to like not get burnt out, to just give yourself space if you need to, especially while you're doing a PhD.
It's hard. I'll speak for myself. So for me, I was TAing last quarter and still trying to produce a video every week, and it was hard. It was very hard. Pushed through, and I don't know. I know for certain after I hit the year mark, I'm gonna give myself probably a couple months break, just to figure out what I want to do with the channel, and you know, how to engage more people. But on that note, Nichole, have you found that your videos have led to many queries or emails about the content, which is taking some of your time? And if so, how do you manage responding to these emails? Or how do you interact with viewers of your videos?
Yeah, so I guess I generally haven't gotten emails yet. I think it just occurred to me, I actually don't know if I have an email list on YouTube, so maybe that's why. But I definitely do get like comments and stuff. And I think there were a couple, especially early on, I think there was a couple of viewers who watched several of my videos in a row. And there was one who proposed a really great suggestion. I am sorry that I haven't gotten around to it. If this person happens to see this video, I will, I promise. But yeah, I think that's generally what I found, is people either saying it's like, oh, like this is great, or like having like a suggestion of like some other related content. And I definitely kind of store it away, like, okay, like this is something that someone is specifically bringing up. I should try to remember to do this at some point.
And then I think, Chad, you wrote this question, so I think you probably get a lot of queries because of our videos.
Yeah, it's a very close question to my heart. I do, and they're increasing with increasing popularity of my channel.
Yeah.
Which is great though, because like I said, I love art, I love helping people, and I love teaching. I'm a professor here too, and it's just like I love it. So I do get emails, especially because R is picky. That's one thing with programming. I know a few different languages of programming, but all programming is picky. So I get these emails, and usually for me, because my R tutorial series is more of a beginner series, so the questions that come up and the emails I get are pretty simple fixes, and often it's like a typo, for example, and that's just, if you know how to program, just typos are just the worst thing in my life.
Oh yeah.
If anyone can create a spell check for like programming, you make money.
I'm laughing at this because this is exactly how most of my workshop in R goes. It's like I raise my hands like, oh, this is not working, and then like, did you type the dot, like, or is it capital, or did you indent something, like, and yeah, it's frustratingly simple when the teacher fixes my mistake, and I applaud to your service, Chad. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, my turn to share, but about my
the queries.
So far, queries-wise, there are many mechanisms my viewer can contact me, because I'm on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I also have an Instagram page. I post a screenshot of my video every week. That's how much Instagram I use. And then I also have a PhDCoffeeTime at gmail.com, which is like made for people to write anonymously to me if they have some issues that they don't want to post on social media. I actually do get quite a lot of private questions that like they want to discuss the PhD issue privately. And luckily I just live here with our family, so I do have a lot of free time. I've only got 2 cats in my home, so I still can reply to everybody in terms of YouTube comments. And actually I observed now my viewer actually reply to each other now on the YouTube comments.
That's cool.
Yeah, some of the time.
Haven't reached there yet.
Yeah.
Next time I will comment on your we'll make that happen.
Yes. That's so cool. So I'm gonna go to the final question. What misconceptions of academia/STEM higher education would you like to dispel for young audience members?
I want to say, if you are not a native English user, there is no such thing as non-native English writer. I'm a medical writer, and one of the questions that interviewers may ask is like, you are not native English user, how can you justify making money by writing English? I think a lot of people who are one thing, you need to watch the Nobel Prize lecture this year. Emmanuel can't say her name, Charpentier, the French lady.
Yes.
She's presenting her Nobel Prize lecture with a French accent, and science is made by people from everywhere speaking using English with an accent. Live with it. If you don't like my accent, that's how your professor may be like, that's how your reviewer may be like. So I hope everyone can at least gain the appreciation and confidence that we are contributing not only just at the English level. So have the confidence that you have what it takes to write your thesis, and there is no writing day. Show up every day, do 30 minutes to 45 minutes every day. There's no perfect writing day. Try to keep the art keep showing up. Even like my YouTube channel, I keep trying to put like once a week. When there's a bad week, I put like a 5-minute video, and it's like an art of showing up as the thing. But for for people who are in PhD, I think the priority wouldn't be a YouTube channel. Like it would be writing a thesis.
Yeah.
So I think Nichole, you got your priorities straight, and it's like like you have to spend your prime time in the day, early morning. Just make sure you deliver 30 minutes a day. What's most important, most challenging for you? And to me, that's thesis writing, reading article. And if you keep doing that, like you were an athlete, athletes don't miss 5 a.m. swim. So scientists don't miss your 30-minute writing. So that's my biggest misconception I want to debust is there's no magical writer. There is no native magical English writer. You practice and you will get better.
Yeah, agreed. And Nichole?
Yeah, I was trying to think about this. Like, I think mine would maybe more go into like the admissions aspect. So I know for myself, like I definitely, when I was applying, I felt, especially once I got to interviews, I felt so underqualified and just very much like, wait, what am I doing here? So like, I think definitely if you're someone who like, maybe you had like a good amount of undergrad research experience, but maybe you weren't able to get like publications, or you weren't able to get quite as much research experience as you thought, like it is not the end all be all. Like you could end up being more qualified than you think. So like, don't close yourself off to that. And if you get into programming, if you don't, if it takes a couple tries, like don't let yourself be intimidated by some of the other people you'll meet in interviews or even once you're in your program. I think I definitely at various times, like at the very beginning, got very intimidated by people because I went straight from undergrad to grad school. So I didn't have a master's in between. And I know several people in my program who were like, yeah, I have like 3 or 4 publications. I'm like, I worked in a lab for 1.5 years and I have nothing. Like I felt very intimidated at the time, but definitely don't let that spook you out of anything. And I think also just know that everyone's going to be in the same boat when they get to PhD. No matter how many publications you have, it's an entirely different realm than undergrad research. I didn't do masters, so I can't say for certain that it's entirely different from masters, but it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And you find the people that support you and you will do well. Like find your support system, and no matter how much experience you have going into it, like you will find a way to succeed. Just find your people and try not to get intimidated, even though it's hard.
Yeah, agreed. And also I'd like to add to that, a lot of people think you should only have one mentor. You need a pool of mentors. As you said, find your people. You can't, find your people to push through. All right, Chad, what misconceptions for you?
Yeah, first I want to echo that, and I think that's everyone's such great points, and I want to echo that in a sense that taking it a step further, where I want to say if you haven't, I guess the terms I use is performance is not potential. So especially, I'll give you a really quick idea here. In high school, I was not a good student. I graduated with C+, maybe B-, can't remember. Now I'm a professor of neuroscience. I'm a year out from having my doctorate in neuroscience. And I had to learn a lot of strategies and things along the way. And that's important. But just if you feel like you're not quite where you need to be at this point, that's not going to stop you, or don't let it stop you at least. The other side, I'm going to kind of answer my own question, which is related though, but it's positive mental health. So you need to take care of yourself first. And I guess the misconception is the idea that we can't do that. We don't have time. We don't have effort. We don't have the ability to have a life-work balance. But more and more, everyone's advocating for, focus on your life and then work. So I 100% adopt that. I have my, 8 to 5 type hours, although it's not always, fixed like that. It could be flexible, but stick to it. And you can still be really successful, and you can have a lot of progress, even by sticking to those things, because you're taking care of yourself. And that's the first and most important thing, I think, in life. So if you have positive health, positive mental health, everything is going to be a little bit easier. And then kind of like I was saying before, you have to learn and adopt these strategies so that when you are on it, and Vera was talking about this as well, when you're on it, you're productive, you're really working it, you know what you're doing, you know what you're about to do. Procrastination is a lot easier to avoid, things like that. So I think the idea of the fact that we have to work, let's say 80, 100, 120 hours a week is not true. And if you really find your strategies and take care of yourself, you can succeed while still being happy and healthy.
Yeah, I want to add to that. I took a self-actualization writing study course in undergrad. I didn't want to take I had a writing requirement and I didn't want to take any of the writing classes. So I spoke with a psychology professor that taught personality, and we did this guided study on self-actualization. And basically he was teaching me how to meditate. In one of our discussions, he said that in order to make productive time, you need to give time, which is the whole idea about meditation. And trust me, that quarter that we did that class, it was one of the hardest semesters that I had in undergrad, and the meditation really got me through because I was giving time to make productive time. And also, everyone needs to put yourself into your schedule. A lot of people put their workout or making food at the end of the day or outside of their working schedule, and then that's what causes the stress. But if you say that at this time in my schedule I'm going to devote to me, it all will fit in. So yeah, lovely conversation. Thank you all for being here, and I hope that one day we can meet each other in person. And this is the episode, so thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for organizing this.
Yes, I enjoyed it. All right, see you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this special episode. Please stay tuned for next week. It's just a one-part episode this week. And yeah, look forward to seeing you. Please like and subscribe to the channel because that helps me so much. And that's it. Bye.